Alright, we're gonna do Adventures in Zooland, number 7 I think I'm at by now. So this one's gonna be on Serpent Safari in Illinois, which closed in 2013. But I went there a while back, it was like 2006 or something like that. No, it was like 2001, sorry, I had my dates all mixed up. Yeah, so it was either 2001 or 2002. I went to Cornerstone, which was in Illinois someplace. And it was kind of like a music festival and had a bunch of bands. It was pretty fun. And one of the things we did during our off time was we drove to Chicago, which I've never been to. We wanted to go to the Sears Tower, but they had already closed the observation deck because we got there like after 9 o'clock or something. But we went to an old mall and they had this place called Serpent Safari, which was supposed to have the biggest snake in captivity. They had a lot of really rare reptiles there. I don't think they cared for any of them the way that they should. Like, it reminded me of like when I was a little kid and I went to the Denver Zoo where it seemed like the animals were in prison instead of having space. The only animal that had a decent enclosure was, I think they had a Nile crocodile, which was pretty decent size, like somewhere around 15 feet. But everything else like was in some pretty junky enclosures. But it did have a lot of really cool stuff. There was an anaconda that was in the movie Anaconda, and there was like an old turtle that they found some Civil War bullets in its shell or something, and an albino alligator, and just a lot of really rare reptiles. And they had the biggest snake in captivity, a Burmese python named Baby. And she was supposedly over 28 feet long and like 420 pounds or something, they said. The Guinness Book of World Records confirmed her at like 403 and said it was the biggest snake in captivity. When they closed in 2013, they weighed her at like 375. But unless it was a typo in the report I was reading, they said she was only 18 foot 10 inches long. And I can't really tell. Like, I was going through my mind. She was definitely big. Her head wasn't that big, but her body was really big. They said she had like a 28-inch circumference in the biggest part. And I think that was true because my leg's 26 inches and she was fatter than that. So yeah, it seems like 1810's a little bit short. Burmese pythons are noted for their length, not their size. Anacondas are thicker and more massive, but typically not quite as long. They're long. They're like the second longest snake and the most massive snake. Burmese pythons are like the longest snake and probably the second most massive snake in general. Obviously, individual species vary, but like, so I would have thought she would have been longer and lighter. So if she was 28 feet long, her weight would make more sense. Like, you could see maybe an anaconda being that massive. She was fat though. She was out of shape. Like, she didn't get any activity and her enclosure wasn't big enough for her. Like, no, her enclosure didn't seem that small. So yeah, I'm starting to think that 18 foot 10 doesn't sound right. But that's what it said in the thing when I was trying to see what her length was before I checked this, and that's the first time I ever saw that. Because I remember when I went, she was supposed to be like 28, so they could have just done a typo. But regardless, she was big, and it was cool seeing a big snake like that in person. It was a fun thing to do when we were up in Chicago. So the coolest thing though was probably the Nile crocodile, just because the enclosure was cooler and it was actually in good shape and it looked really fearsome and cool. So yeah, that's just another random adventure in Zooland.